time number 3 in America. I've learned so much from him about basketball, the game, and everything around it. And it started growing, and it just came natural, and like pieces coming together, basically.
So your husband, he plays basketball still, or?
Yeah, my ex-husband, he
Oh.
he played since 2010. He's been overseas in China mainly. He's been around, yeah.
So what was the experience like though, being in China, just learning their style of basketball, and and all the people that you met there, and obviously Yao Ming is big in China, and all these other big basketball players. So far, Marby's there right now, actually in China, doing big things. But this explain to me the experience in China and learning a new culture there.
For me, China wasn't as big as a shock because I've been in North Africa as well and other places in the world. But when it came to basketball, I feel like it was all positive. You know, their willingness to learn, the love they have for the game. I mean, you would go to a small village where they've never seen a foreigner, but you know, the basketball would connect you to them and with them. So it was really beautiful to see, not even speaking a language, how that connected a lot of people. So that was very beautiful. Also, what I've learned from them is to really not, even though we all, you know, claim basketball is obviously from America, there's so many different things there. The way they see working out, you know, 1 or 2 practices a day. We had some comments from Chinese people involved with basketball that they didn't want the young kids to work out with weights because they believed that they would shrink. So, you know, there's a lot of cultural funny things, and it all has an importance on how the outcome is for a game, you know. But it's very interesting. CBA is very strong. I like the competition. I like the way Steph plays. I've seen him change a game in the CBA. I think we had only 2 minutes left and over 10 points different, and they flipped the game and they still won the game. So it's a whole different ball game, I feel, in China than in the NBA.
So my next question here to you, obviously I've done work with Dane Ortiz also with his podcast, and he's doing big things. And when was the first time that you connected with Dane Ortiz, Meadow Peace? And also, I've seen you're connected with Steve Francis too, another former NBA player. So, what's it like connecting with all of these NBA players, former players, and even Daniel Ortiz too?
Daniel, I've met him in China as well. He was on the Tracy McGrady team. He got introduced to me, and I had to work with him with the players that I picked to form around Tracy McGrady. It was very interesting to work with him just because everyone has an opinion ready about someone, but Daniel, really athletic. He was really good. Everyone loved him, you know. To work with bigger or, you know, legends of basketball was an honor. It was amazing. But when you're in that moment and you're working, I have my child on tour with me, you know, you're trying to have everything right. I was responsible for everything. So I feel like in that moment, I might have not enjoyed it as much as I now look back at it. But it's amazing. Like looking back now, realizing who I've worked with, great personalities, and the game is just something else to be around that, the vibe.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about your content, and how long does it take for you to prepare your content? And obviously, you have a YouTube channel too. But how long do you prepare? I mean, when you do your shows, and what's your goal for your content, and what do you try and do to make it stand out more?
Well, I just wanted to do this for my fun because I wanted to touch base with guys that I've worked with, right? So I figured, why not just record everything and put it on YouTube? You know, I want to see how everyone is doing during COVID, and what part of the world they are now. But as I was doing it, I realized, you know what? I actually like doing this, and I want to share these stories with people in the world. And now I'm actually trying to get into social media and what it takes. And because it looks so simple, but I don't know how you do this, because you are amazing with what you do, and you're like this. I'm not as fast as you. I edit my own stuff, and that's a learning process too. I use Final Cut Pro. I mean, we all know it takes some time to get there, but I'm trying to squirm myself in there.
No, I mean, you're doing a fantastic job too. And like I said, if you need help, then I'm here to help. And
Thank you.
the good thing about this being a podcaster, and we have a lot of other people who do this podcast, and we're all family. We're here to help each other out. And that's how I got connected with Daniel Ortiz and Meadow. I haven't interviewed his brother yet. I'm trying to get his brother on the show, but he's busy with this basketball thing. But um, so being connected with you now, and Dana Ortiz and Global Kid Media, which I'm going to send you his page, and all these other podcasters is just a grateful opportunity. And because they can help you, I can help them and help everyone, so all of us can succeed in a high level. But my next question to you, so obviously Daniel Ortiz uses StreamYard, and all these people use some of these podcasters use StreamYard. So I mean, if you are you planning on using StreamYard too? Because I think Daniel told me to use StreamYard also. I don't know. Do you know more about StreamYard? Do you know more about that?
To be honest, no. I just know you can stream on different platforms at the same time, basically. So that way you generate more viewers because you're on different platforms at the same time. That's basically how I perceive it. But and I think it's very effective. Only my live views, and I'm not as interactive with it as I want to be. But I think it's a great platform to work with. Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to start using that too to
Mm-hmm.
to expand it. But being from the Netherlands, what do you think the NBA will eventually be big over there? Because I feel like um, the NBA needs to expand it. Obviously, they have it in India, China, everywhere. But do you think they can expand it to Netherlands or these other countries? Do you see that happening in the future?
Yeah, I was actually when I was in China, the NBA just first was starting over there, and I remember, I don't know who it was, but I had a conversation with someone there, and they were telling us that it wasn't going as great. And for me, I believe that was because their strategy of entering the market there in China. Asia is a totally different market, and obviously culture plays a big role. And with the CBA being there, you're a competitor in a way. So, but I definitely think they should reach out to different parts of the world. But I think they're doing that. With the NBA Junior, start with
Yeah.
the younger kids to generate their interest, and start that way is a good way of going. So yeah, but Holland, I still believe soccer is number one. We've been trying hard to make basketball more popular, and it's moving around, but I don't know.
Um, well, speaking of kids, I saw your daughter. You sent me. I saw your daughter's YouTube channel that you sent me. That's amazing, and that's really inspiring in what she does. But how often does she do that? And do you see her being like a sports broadcaster or a sports journalist like you?
Well, she told me she wants to be a singer, a dancer, a doctor, a lawyer, and she wants to play in the WNBA. So I don't know if that's gonna fit in, but she loves it, and I'm not pushing her to do it. So it's probably twice a month that she wants to make a video, and I don't want to push it on her because what they're dealing with homeschool right now, and I'm trying to let her go outside and explore nature. So it takes a lot, as you know, for us to do it. So imagine for kids, that's a whole other thing. So I'm just letting her do her thing and decide for herself.
Hmm. So obviously, I just mentioned 14-year-old kid, Global Kid Media, but what's it like seeing this other young kids utilizing this platform like Instagram Live and Zoom or Skype, whatever they use? Because there's this 9-year-old kid now we're seeing on Instagram doing Instagram Lives. She's trying to be a journalist. She's interviewed I think Chrissy Winter Scott also on her show, and her questions are really awesome. I tuned in for that a little bit. So what's it like seeing these young kids at 9 or whatever, 10, 14, just utilizing these platforms now during this tough time?
I mean, I think it's amazing because, if we want it or not, technology is evolving and we have to go with it. Otherwise, we become like our parents. And when the mobile phones came out, we had to help them with things. Well, I don't know for you, but for me.
Yeah.
So it's like a transition. And I'm trying to keep telling myself that, like, okay, we have to involve them in certain things. But I strongly believe that there are boundaries as well. And we have to guide our kids in that because otherwise they will drown in the pool of social media and platforms. And so there's a fine balance, and for everyone that's different, so you have to find your way in that, I believe.
Yeah, so I want to get to your podcast now. How often do you do your shows? And obviously you had one yesterday with Scoop, but how often do you do your shows, and how do you reach out to your guests? And do you do once a week, or how often?
It depends on who I want to speak with, because, like I said, most people that I do speak with are people that I know personally. So I reach out. I try to do at least 2 a week, which isn't much. But with that comes editing. So at least I try to do 2 interviews a week and edit. And, my interviews are really long. And I know we have to keep it short and sweet, so they say. So I'm trying to put it in parts and keep it consistently that way.
Yeah.
That's my secret. I hope it will work.
Yeah, for me, it's just I keep it to 15 to 38 minutes. I keep telling my guests 15 to 38 minutes, or it can go longer depending how the conversation goes. Um, yeah, so like for me, it's not that long. But my next question for you, well, obviously the guests that potentially you reach out to, but have you considered reaching out to people that you don't know and bringing on them on the show?
Good question, because I have been thinking about that. And that's why I said much respect to you, because you definitely are a go-getter and a hustler, because you just go for it. And I think that's amazing. I am feeling like I'm more comfortable on the internet. And I mentioned this phrase before. It's like basically giving yourself to the internet. I feels like undressing slowly. You're giving yourself up. So slowly but surely, I'm getting more comfortable with the internet, and I feel like I will definitely reach out to those that I also personally don't know. So yeah.
So has anyone given you advice in the sports industry, what to expect in this field, and or who do you look up to and try and study your craft around towards?
You mean as far as the podcast
Yeah,
goes?
podcasts or being like a writer, journalist, whatever.
To be honest, like I said, I just started this, but I am more intrigued by watching shows. Obviously, I watch more ESPN before. I just watch some clips, but now I like to watch it, more intense and really observe. But I also like to watch like your shows
Huh.
and other people's shows that are also
Yeah.
starting to learn from. What do you think is interesting to ask someone, and mix those two things together, because at the end of the day, ESPN, those platforms are the more traditional platforms, and we come in as the new. And I think that combined, I think that's the answer to it.
Yeah. So speaking of ESPN, I had the opportunity to interview like most of the ESPN crew on my show, like Anita Collins. I had Jay Harris. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and I had Damian Woody. I had Doug Kazarian. I had
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can name it. I mean, I had half of the ESPN people on. You remind me of Anita Collins, by the way. The way you,
Really?
yeah, I'm serious.
Well, thank you.
The way you work and your work ethic, and obviously you just started this, but I think you can work your way towards like being her.
Thank you. That's a very nice compliment on this Saturday.
I'm serious, yeah, because obviously you work hard too, and then I think that's a good person to look up to, the way she works, and she's big into soccer, and she loves, I mean, obviously ESPN, and yeah, but she's such an inspiration, and you can be like her, just like her. Yeah.
Yes. Good role model.
Yeah. So my next question for you, what are your overall thoughts on this NBA playoffs? And obviously, the Heat are in trouble right now, being down 2-0, and I picked the Lakers in 6. Hopefully, I got the Heat winning 2 games in the series, but
Yeah.
it's not looking great for them. So, but what are your overall thoughts so far?
Wait, but before you're saying, do you still believe that the Heat is going to win 2 games?
I mean, it's not looking too good. But they have injuries, but I I don't know. I think
Yes or no?
at this point I gotta say no because I told my friends yesterday if the Heat lose, then they're gonna get swept. So so I
Well, I must say I share that same opinion because at the end of the day, the basketball that I've seen around overseas is so different. And, from what I've seen and what I believe, and that's why I made a short film on Instagram just to mock around. I said it's basketball, it's not soccer,
yeah
and I was just trying to be funny. But it's the truth, What can you do if you have these tall basketball players that know what they're doing and their pass is just different, the leadership is different. So yeah, it's not much to say. I think it's obvious.
yeah.
And then coaching as well, if you look at the team around the Lakers and the team around, they come from different backgrounds. And I think that's what forms the team as well.
Yeah, so I'm trying to. I'm plus I'm pulling for the Lakers because I'm good friends with J.R. Smith's brother. We went to the same high school and they live in where we live, Tottenham's Ever. So I'm pulling for
Hold
J.R.
on, who's Bob?
What?
What's his name?
The one who plays for the Lakers?
No, JR's brother, you said.
Oh yeah, Demetrius Smith and Chris Smith.
Oh, okay, no,
Yes,
that's me.
yeah. So they live over here. So I'm pulling for J.R. Smith to win another ring for New Jersey represents. So that's why I picked the Lakers in 6, and I'm good friends with the family, and obviously he played in China too. So yeah, but it's gonna be interesting to see though what happens in the next 2 games here. And like I said, if the Heat lose again, I guess it's pretty much over. You can call it.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, but it's hard. I feel like it's hard for Miami to go into a game right now, they have to be so strong mentally as well. And they're already towards the end. So, being strong mentally to go in there and you already had losses is tough, and then still go like with everything, give your everything. That's a tough road.
Yes, but outside of the finals, what do you think of the bubble? And obviously, Adam Silver, the commissioner, did a fantastic job keeping these players contained in the whole time. And I know it's hard for these players not able to see families for a long time. But what is it? What are your thoughts on this bubble, though, in this unique situation?
I think if somebody would actually have studied this, I don't know if the NBA did that, but it's a very interesting study just to see, um, like people said in the beginning, people are now not traveling. Everyone is in one same place, so there are no excuses. Everyone is there, and you have to play, and this is the outcome. So I think it's an interesting aspect from that side. But of course, it's very hard for the players. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to think, to be honest, starting this. I didn't know if they were going to last, if they were going to finish, if the coronavirus would have an impact on this, but definitely very well arranged, and the management and everything around it, very well done. But now, I don't know what's going to happen now, with I don't know. And then of course I'm waiting for the next bubble, which is China. They're starting in
Oh,
October,
oh,
so
okay.
that's very interesting to see too.
Oh, so they're gonna do another bubble situation for the Chinese now.
Yeah, basically that's what they're saying. So October 18th, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously basketball's doing bubble, and baseball's doing bubble, hockey did a bubble. Do you think the NFL should consider doing a bubble now because now they're getting outbreaks in the NFL with the Titans
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
now the Patriots too, Cam Newton.
You know, coming from Europe, in the beginning when they say they were going to do it, I didn't understand, and I thought, why would we even have to continue with this? And protecting this virus is much more important. But this just shows the strength of people when people come together and actually want to make something happen. It can happen. So I think it's a great example of how we can approach things in life and how to still, keep pushing for everyone. That's a great example.
Yeah. So I want to get to another important topic. Everyone should be talking about this. Women in sports, and for you guys getting all the opportunities now, which is amazing and inspiring, and women getting a chance to coach male sports too. So what's it like seeing all women getting the chances and being able to be their own personality and coach in male sports? And like Becky Hammond, for example, coaches the Spurs, assistant coach for the Spurs, and Nancy Lieberman, a great example. So what's it like just seeing all women in sports getting the chances now?
I think it's amazing because I think us women, we have such strong personalities. And I think we are definitely the one for the job. So for people opening more up and giving that opportunity, I mean, we still have a long way to go. If you look at it, if you look at the top and you look who's in charge and male versus female ratio, there's no way around it, but we have to start somewhere. And I think it's going really well. For me, being, a woman in sports, I never wanted to think about it because obviously people always think, when I go somewhere, it's like, oh, are you somebody's girlfriend? No, I'm not. I'm trying to do my job. So you'll always have that. But I think we have to be the stronger one and look over that instead of pointing out every little thing, and just keep on pushing and showing what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, we got. This is why we got to put this story out more, and I'm just happy to see you guys get more opportunities, and that's the main thing, especially for me, because my podcast is open to anyone. Because
Yeah.
this platform, I like to listen to other people's personalities and where they come from. So I open my podcast to everyone to join. So that's why I'm always a hustler and I'm a go-getter to bring on as much possible guests I can have on the show. So
Yeah, no, but I share that same ideology. That's why I created Players Talk. I really want people to open their eyes. I feel like people, especially in the United States, that whole entertainment bubble that there is, people are so tunnel visioned to certain, great personalities in life. And I just want to show that we are all great personalities. We are all having our stories and we can all learn from each other, whether it's you or somebody with a name. I mean, we all have our struggles and our journey, and that makes us who we are today, and we learn from each other.
yeah, so where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with this podcast you're doing right now with Players Talk?
I'll have my own broadcast channel, and I'll be broadcasting more than just interviews, and I hope that it is very educational. I think I want to go that way, that route. Like what I'm speaking about now, I just want to educate the youth more. Also because I have a kid and I see that it's needed. That's why what you're doing is great, because these topics kids need to hear. They need to be motivated, get motivated, and I think that will be the angle of what I want to do more and more.
Yeah, so what advice would you give these young kids or young people that want to get into the same business as us, as sports journalists or reporters or podcasters?
Stay consistent. That's what I'm learning right now. Stay consistent. Even if you feel like not doing it, still do it. And but know that that's what you want to do. If whatever that you do, just go for it with the full of you, and don't do things halfway, because that's not your work. You can do better. So show you and yourself at your best with whatever that you do.
Mm-hmm. So now, to end the show, I usually do this rapid fire segment with all my guests that come on the show. You ready for this?
I guess.
All right. My first one is Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi Leonard. You said that which one is better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most I've gotten is Kawhi. Most people say Kawhi on the show. So
No, I'm not a big Kevin Hart fan.
Favorite food?
Oh, that's a tough one. I have so many because I have such a cultural background. I saw you post the roti pictures.
Yeah.
I love Korean roti. I love it.
Yeah, we're Indian, so we make so much curry and roti and
Oh,
and naan bread. Yeah. And then naan, right? The Indian bread.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that too.
Yeah. So would you say the Indian food's your favorite, or?
Well, I can because then my Arab side, I love Arab food too, Mediterranean. I would say Mediterranean, Indian.
Hmm. Uh, Favorite music.
I'm gonna say urban, so it's a wider scale of music.
Hmm. Favorite memorable interview you have done so far.
Um, wow, I'm kind of not prepared. Best interview I've done so far, but I haven't done so many with you.
Okay. Or Scoop.
Yeah, well, they're also different. I can't compare them. I really cannot.
Hmm.
I
Uh,
can't.
Favorite memorable sporting event you've been to in China and then here.
Sport event, yes, that's definitely our own tour. Tracy McGrady versus CBA China teams.
Hmm.
And we
Uh,
went undefeated. And that's hard anyway.
oh,
So
wow.
14 games undefeated. We did that.
So outside of doing this podcast and watching basketball, what else do you like to do?
I love to travel. That's my number one. We can't do that now. I like arts. I like to paint. I like to listen to music. I just like to be in nature. I think that's what I enjoy most. Be outside in nature.
Yeah. So obviously, what's it like? How do you balance? I'm just curious. How do you balance your work and then with your daughter's schoolwork? With schoolwork, how do you balance that out?
That's a good one. Well, with homeschool now, I'm trying to be there for her and do my work as well, which that's very I can do that. But I always make time for things. I plan things out. Like with her, I have a planner each week, and then we write down what are we going to do when it's time for me, what I have to do. We work on a schedule, and I think that works best. That's how I was brought up. Like I always was on a schedule. You wake up, you do this by this time, and you
Hmm.
work that out.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah, I'm just always curious because whenever I have guests on the show and when they have kids, I'm just curious how do they balance their work with the kids.
It's tough, but it's doable.
Yeah,
I'm always doing something. I'm never sitting still.
yeah, yeah. So my next one here actually, do you see what was your reaction when Doc Rivers got the head coaching job with the Clippers recently? I mean, 2 days ago, I think it was.
Well, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. I mean, could you see it happen? Yeah. Like I said, I compare everything overseas, I know, but I would know in China if something like that would happen. You're fired. They're looking for another coach. So, but it's shocking because I think I don't know. I don't think he's that bad of a coach. I don't think it should take him much time to get another job, hopefully. But what are your thoughts?
I For me, I love it. I think that's a perfect hire, and um, I mean, obviously, he needs to make these pieces work in Philly with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. That's the first thing he needs to do. If he can correct that, then everything is set because all they need is a couple more pieces around those two players. And Doc Rivers, you know what Doc Rivers brings? Championship experience,
Hmm.
and he knows his stuff. And if you bring in a legitimate scorer off the bench or another star in there, then that team is set. All they need to do is fix that chemistry between Ben Simmons and Embiid because everybody thinks that they need to trade one of them. I say do not give up yet. Let Doc Rivers situate it and then go from there. I really like that
Yeah, it's too early, I think.
because Doc Rivers knows how to uh, put the players underneath his wing, and I feel like that. I think he can do that with Ben Simmons and Embiid. I think that's a good hire for them.
Hmm.
And then the next one here, what players should we be looking out for in China or these overseas players that could potentially come to the NBA?
Oh, that's a good one. From overseas, you say?
Yeah, from China or anywhere. If
Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of great. I'm to be honest, I'm not as up to date with with the greatest players overseas that I would think, wow, that's a great fit for the NBA. I did, however, met two guys um, on some clinics in New York, and they were in a G League. I can't name them. Two guys, but they were amazing. You know, sometimes when you see a player and it's not just drilled in them, but it just comes like Nunn. I really like the way Nunn plays from Miami,
Hmm.
25.
Yeah.
You know, it just comes so natural. You know, it's just in him, and I think it's hard to find a player like that. So I don't know. The drive that Americans have here to play and that passion, sometimes I feel like it's lacking a little bit overseas. You know, the love is there, but the way Americans go for the, it's a different type of love for basketball, I feel like.
Mhm.
So at this point, I don't know. I don't know who's good enough for the NBA.
Okay, speaking of overseas players, what do you think of Luka Doncic so far in the NBA?
Luca. Yeah, see, now you're kind of what I said did make sense because now we're looking at all the Europeans. Of course, I like Luca. You know, I like Luca. I like Joker. I like the way they're playing. They can definitely do it. So they're amazing players. And I think there is a lot more for us to see. I think this is just the beginning, you know, and them getting their way, getting settled here, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. Um, I'm curious to see. I don't know what they're gonna do, what side they're gonna go, but they definitely have it.
So I want to bring up a question here. I know that Yao Ming is probably busy with his stuff in China, but do you see him being a coach potentially, Yao Ming?
No, a
Uh,
coach? I don't think Yao Ming would. I mean, he's the commissioner of the CBA,
oh,
so
yeah. Yep. Mhm.
um, I think he's the one that oversees it. But I don't know if I would want to see him being. But it could. I mean, yeah, he could. You never know.
Yeah. So I want to bring up an inspiring story that everybody should be talking about too. Mark Cuban helping out Delonte West, bringing him to a rehab center and picking him up, and that's what a great thing he did for him. Hopefully Delonte can turn his life around because I always was a big fan of his when he was on the court. And fortunately some bad things happened, and but thank you, big shout out to Mark Cuban. Uh, for helping him out and hopefully turning his life around. So, what was your thought? What was your reaction when that happened? When you heard that news?
You know, I think a lot of time people from the outside don't know. You know, we always see the athlete and we see him play and we see him play the game. But what really goes on in an athlete, you know, what that person has been dealing with, we can only judge him from the outside. So seeing him in those circumstances is heartbreaking, and I think it's not great, but everyone has to fight their battles, everyone has to fight their demons, what they say, you know. And for Mark for him to be that person to stand up and reach out, and to be, I mean, we don't know the full story, we just hear from the media what we hear, but you know that how it is portrayed right now, I think that's a great initiative. And I mean, I hope he has a good system around him. You know, I hope he has people that love him around him that can take care of him and help him guide through this. Because this is not just a thing of, oh, get cleaned up and go home. But I think it's a process because where he came from was a process too.
Yeah. What's your favorite NBA team growing up?
Bulls.
Oh, okay. So here's my follow-up question. So, if Anthony Davis wins the ring, obviously they're going to win the ring. But do you see him going back home to Chicago or staying in LA?
I would love that.
What do you
I
think?
would really like that because you know I'm like, yo, it's time for the Bulls to come back.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think he has that Michael Jordan mentality
Yep.
type of game, you know. So that would be awesome if we can have another Michael Jordan again.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's not gonna happen, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that would be nice. And we have a good that would be cool if we would have a Chicago Bulls that's back, and if we would have a New York Knicks that's back. But you know, like we said, with technology, things
yeah.
change. So I guess Lakers is the new Bulls.
Yeah, but I'm a New York Knicks fan, unfortunately, here in New Jersey. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
yeah, we're going through the struggles right now. Actually, we have your former coach now, Tom Thibodeau in New York. So hopefully he can turn that around for us. And but we've been unlucky for like 8 years, and we're still getting unlucky with the draft lottery. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can. I don't know. They need some kind of star player like a Victor Oladipo in there, or Chris Paul. But I'm hoping something good happens for us this year. But Chicago is an intriguing team for me. For you, Zach LaVine. If I were them, do not trade him. He's a star. Keep Zach LaVine. Anthony Davis will strongly consider that team in free agency. I'm sure of that. I'm pretty sure he will consider his hometown, even though even if he stays in LA. I'm pretty sure the headlines would be Anthony Davis really consider his hometown before going back to LA. I really think that he's gonna take this for him. I think it's gonna be a long decision, and
Yeah, but he can't leave LeBron.
I know, but like if that when it comes to X Factor, I know this is early, but I love this is my favorite time of year when I love NBA free agency. I love talking about that 5 months before it happens because it just really intrigues me. But if Anthony Davis, I mean, I know that he's going to leave. If he leaves, obviously he left a legend like LeBron. But if you think about it, if he wants to build his own legacy,
True.
why not just do it at home, Chicago, with Zach LaVine?
Yeah,
That's like,
but you know what? Me with my mentality, and that's maybe again different. I would never have thought of that. I'm like, he's gonna build a great legacy with the Lakers
yeah,
and move on from there. But I could see you telling, go back to your beginnings. But we don't always have to. We can continue history in another way. But I like where your mindset is. Yeah.
yeah. So the last couple things here before I let you go. What did you think of the Last Dance documentary? If you saw it.
I think it was great. I think it was everyone needed to see something like that. Like what we're doing, we're having people on a platform. We only knew Jordan from what we saw. And I think that brings a great insight. Everything is more personalized now. So we need to just see that personal side of him. I think we were all waiting on that.
Yeah, and you're gonna like this actually. I interviewed former Chicago Bull Eddie Robinson on my show last month, and obviously he was a great player. He played with the Bulls and Hornets. Did you get to watch him play in Chicago, Eddie Robinson?
Me?
Yeah,
No.
no. Yeah, so I interviewed him on the show, but he told me all. He explained everything his career about Chicago, and he loves Chicago. So
Really? I love Chicago too. Like the city in America, why I love Chicago is because it resembles so much to Europe, I feel like. In a way, the outside and I love Chicago. I do. The
yeah.
cold winters.
So I'm over 500 episodes so far on my podcast, and um, one of the 500. This is I'm gonna explain to you a quick story. How for these people do not give up on getting a guest. This is a quick example. So
Mhm.
it took me 4 months to get this done. Um, so he came on my 25th birthday. Out of my 500 episodes, Isaiah Thomas, the former Piston, he came on my show, and it took me 4 months to get that done. His daughter helped me out. That I mean, you have in this field you got to be patient. So that's one example I always bring up to the people that want to get into the same business. Just be pretty patient. They'll get back to. So it took the daughter got back to me in 4 months, and she said, "Is it possible if my father can come on your birthday, the 25th birthday, in August 16th?" I said, "Sure, why not? Yeah." And he came on, and that was an honor. So that explains to tell people about being patient in this field.
Yep. Definitely have to be patient and be yourself. I think that's key too. Just be you, be patient and consistent.
Yeah, so the last few things here before I let you go, this is a question I've been bringing up to all my guests pretty much. And the late Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, Mama Mentality, and the rest of the people that were involved in a horrible crash. And he was one of my role models growing up. And shout out to Ellie Duncan from ESPN starting the Girl Dad movement. So I have the shirt.
Mm.
Do you remember where you were at that day, and what did they mean to you? And obviously you have a daughter too, so.
Yeah, I didn't never thought we could. I was at home. Um, it was so harsh, you know, like we were all in the moment in the game and basketball and Lakers, and when something sudden happens, I feel like it's so unreal. I think a lot of people today even didn't have the time to really soak it in and really realize what really happened. You know what I mean? We all saw it and we all heard about it, but to really like sit there and be like, you need your own moments for that. You know, watching TV is not the moment, but once everything that you hear, and then you're gonna sit down and then you actually think of what happened when you're with yourself and your own thoughts. I think it's so heartbreaking. You know, it's so unfair. Like I don't think we even have words for what happened.
Yeah. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers?
Sorry, one more time.
Would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers?
Yes, I think everyone is doing an amazing job. Um, without you guys, we would have been nowhere because look what's going on. I mean, this is not the end. This is only the beginning still, you know, and for them to keep on pushing and taking risks and putting their own family, you know, on number two, and other people's lives on number one is the biggest thing you can do as a person, as a human being. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well said. And thank you, Jasmine, for joining me today on the NR Hour Sports Podcast Show. This
Thank
has
you for
been,
having me.
yeah, this has been an honor. I'll be posting this on all social media formats, and keep up the great work. Like I said, you're Anita Collins 2.0. No, I'm serious. Yep. Keep up the great work. You'll be up there pretty soon.
Thank you.
You're such an inspiration. I'm glad that we connected with each other, and we should do a collab show one day. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna hit up Daniel Ortez. We should do like a three-way Zoom call or with the other people too, and they can join in. And I would
Yeah,
like,
that would be fun.
yeah. So I'm working on getting Tracy McGrady on the show. So hopefully he answers soon. Or if not, then we all can do a Zoom call with Tracy if he wants. And but I'm just happy that we all connected with each other. We're all family now, and you and your family stay safe.
Yes, thank you so much again. Be safe as well.
Thank you.
Talk
Anytime.
to you soon.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.